my faithful old iPhone here. Now, I don't know if I should be admitting this on air, but here I am. I do have my phone in the shower because I'm usually watching YouTube in the shower. Weird, I know.
Sure, YouTube.
You porn. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, and it's one of those things. It's okay. First world problems, but when I'm washing my hair, it's such pain. My hair's so long; it takes so long. So I'm in the shower for like 20 minutes. Anyway, this is too much information about
me. You have such a busy life that you have to redeem the time while you're washing your hair. It's like, I'm doing research.
Well, yeah, because I like to listen to YouTube. Anyway, so I'll just have it there. And so it's not under the water, but it's in there.
If you're listening to the Oddcast in the shower right now, could you just leave us a comment? Let us know that Carly's not the only complete weirdo
I know I'm not
here.
alone because apparently this is a common problem. Anyway, they're meant to be waterproof, but I broke the back off my iPhone. I dropped it and it smashed. And then I took it to one of those...
That's not going to be waterproof anymore.
No, and I didn't even think about it, right? And so anyway, and then, it's getting water and whatever on it. And then I thought the back of it was just coming off. Like, because they put a new back on it and obviously glued it back on. And just one of those, phone fixing places because I'm just refusing to buy a new phone. Anyway, G and I would like be in bed and we could smell, like it smelled like glue. And I was like... my phone smells. And I'm like, oh, it's like I could feel that the back was sort of like bubbly a little bit. And I was like, oh, the back's coming off.
Is that the battery going...
Yes. Well, funny you said that because I was like, oh, it's just the back coming off.
No,
and then,
I've had that happen with an iPhone. My first iPhone, that's how it died.
Yeah, wow. So I didn't know what was going on. So I dug out the old receipt and I was like, oh, surely there's a warranty. 90 days, not long enough. But anyway, I was like, oh, bugger. So I go to Southland and I drop the phone off. I'm like, oh, it's not working really well and it's not charging properly. And he grabs it and he smells it. He's like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. And he like fully panicked. He's like, quick.
Yeah, because it's toxic. The gas is coming off of that.
This is about to blow up.
Yes.
This is lithium.
Yes.
And meanwhile, I've been putting up with that for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Until it got to the point where it wasn't charging properly. Anyway, and he's like, this could blow up at any moment. This is so dangerous. This could absolutely explode. Anyway, he starts pulling it apart and doing all the things. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize this was such a big deal. And he pulls it out and he's like horrified. His face was like, the battery had swollen up and there's like lithium leaking out everywhere. He's like, oh my God. Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah. So my first iPhone... the very, very early one, if you can cast your mind back to that, had the rounded corners and kind of the rounded back.
iPhone 3.
And
3G it was called.
It was an amazing device at the time, but of course these things die. And my one died by forming a bump in part of the back of it. And it was enough of a bump and with enough pressure behind it, it was causing hairline fractures in the plastic. Now, of course, these were never considered to be waterproof, so I kept away from water, all that stuff. But I was like, oh, that's a bit of an odd thing. I didn't actually think about it because iPhones were new. We didn't have these problems. All the previous electronic devices had run off AA batteries. These pouch batteries that do that when they fail, that was a new kind of thing. I hadn't used them before. So, yes, and then one day I was sitting typing away. I was actually working for a friend's video production company at the time, and I had the phone on the desk next to me, and it all of a sudden made like a sound. And the back had popped off the front. Now, this is one of the ones where the back actually was removable. These are the early ones where the battery was actually, I could have just stopped and looked at it at any point in time. Anyway, so now I pick it up and I look at it, and the pouch was doing these ones, and it had the white stuff coming out the top.
Yeah.
all of that.
I've seen like e-scooter batteries blow up and things like that. I hadn't even thought that could happen with your phone. Isn't that bad?
Don't you remember that they made the Jihad version of the Galaxy?
Yes.
That would just spontaneously take out airplanes.
Yes.
And
that was a couple of years ago?
That was a couple of years ago,
They were catching fire
and
or
they
something?
wouldn't even let you take them on a plane, and for a while there was like all these precautions and rules around them.
Yeah.
Like these are serious little things.
I didn't even think about it. Like you're so accustomed to carrying it around and not being really nonchalant with it. But you'll appreciate this.
Right.
So
is this the burn thing that you asked me to
Well, I
remind
was
you
going to
of?
say, I almost got burnt by my iPhone.
Yeah.
That was the story. But there has been a real shift away from Apple, and you'll be impressed by this.
Ooh, why was this not your good news story, Carly?
Well, look, I like Apple's OS system. I wish Windows was as user-friendly. It's not. Windows is so clunky, and I still have no idea why it's the way it is. Anyway, once you're in an ecosystem, it's really hard to be across both, right?
Yeah.
So I've been on this system for over 20 years. To move back to Windows will just like make me spontaneously combust. Anyway, boring story.
Talk about burn.
We talk about this story every podcast,
Yeah,
but I'm trying
it's
to rush through it. Anyway, Gen Z are like looking at, because of TikTok, you see a lot of Chinese stuff and whatnot. So they're like Huawei. Is it Huawei?
Huawei, yeah.
Huawei?
Yeah, Huawei. I'm not sure.
G said that was the best phone he's ever had. They're banned in Australia because
right.
it has Chinese spyware or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's Oppo and a whole host of others. And I didn't know this, but Oppo phones had or have Hasselblad cameras in them.
I had an Oppo, worst phone I've owned. I went back to Samsung afterwards.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's all these different phones, and then there's a new brand. I think it's called. I want to say Naked. I don't think that's right, but it's like bare bones phone, but still super capable.
Yeah.
And they're doing a real push, and they've got headphones. I've probably got the name wrong. Anyway. And so what Gen Z is looking at is all these crazy cool features that Chinese phones have that our Western world phones don't have.
Yeah.
So there's this shift away from Apple. And I was like, it's the best thing because Tim Cook only cares about money.
Right.
Tim Cook doesn't care about innovation. Ever since Steve Jobs died, Apple's innovation has tanked.
Why do you call him Jobs? I've never heard anyone else refer to him as Steve Jobs.
It is Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. I've always heard
No, it's Jobs.
Help
yeah.
us out here, guys.
It's Steve Jobs, not Jobs.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to sit here knowing that you're wrong.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. Tim Cook only cares about money. I believe that's where you were.
Yeah. And look, I don't know Samsung because I don't follow Samsung, but the innovation has been beyond lackluster. Like it's just.
Yeah. It's iteration, not innovation.
Here's an extra megapixel for your camera.
Yeah.
It does exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And the only reason most people upgrade is because they've either smashed their phone or the battery is not charging the way it does.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when I took it and got the battery repaired, I was like, oh, how long will that battery last? He's like, you'll have this phone until you break it next time. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck you, Apple. I'm so sick of paying. Like, if I replace that with the new one, it'll be, $2,500 because it's the...
Some insane amount of money. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is so stupid. That's like halfway, it's almost a laptop.
So I remember when you would get a mobile phone on a plan, bundled in with your plan.
Yeah.
And the plans could be $30-$40 a month, which was more money back then than it is now, granted. Okay, I'm talking when I was 18. This is 200 years ago.
The old Nokias, eh?
Yeah, the old Nokias, that sort of thing. Now, speaking of waterproof, okay, I had a Nokia, one of them, the 5110 or something like that. I think it was one of the ones after that. And I fell into a friend's pool. I was chasing a basketball, tried to reach in, overbalanced. In I go with the phone in my pocket. So I jump out of the pool. I'm like, okay, wallet and all the rest of it, not much I can do there. I grab the phone. I pull it to pieces because it's obviously battery out, back off, all that. And I rinsed it under tap water to get the salt, the chlorine out because it was a chlorinated pool. And I'm like, okay, this may or may not be dead. I don't know. And I put it into an oven at a low temperature just to evaporate, just to try and get some heat through and get the water to evaporate out. A couple of hours later, I put the battery back into it, turned it on. Everything worked. I could make and receive calls. The only thing was a bit of water had got into the LCD screen itself. And so I couldn't really see what I was doing on the screen, and therefore the phone was dead.
Yeah.
But actually, it still functioned as a phone. I could make calls. I could receive calls. All the buttons worked. Everything still worked. And for me, I'm like, if I could just get back to a phone that does phone calls, text.
They call them dumb phones. They make them now.
And navigation.
Yeah. Do you know, my very first phone was a Nokia. No, it was an Ericsson. It was a Sony Ericsson. It was the one where you could change the color on the front. But then I got my mum's 30.
It's so hot right now.
Right? And you know the little aerial?
Yeah.
And then I got the 3210. And I think I got that when I was 16. And around that era when I got that phone, color screens were just coming out, brand new. And then the very first camera phone with a VGA camera came out. And I was desperate for a new phone, desperate. And my parents were like, until that thing breaks, you don't get another one. And then, of course, you know how it is at school. Everyone starts getting the cool phones and you're right and cool and whatever. And like the 3210 had Snake on it. That was it. And you used to have to delete text messages because you couldn't hold more than 10 at a time or something. If any Gen Z is watching this, they're like, what? This is like Stone Age.
Can you believe we used to have to pay per text?
Right.
For each text message you sent, you paid 50 cents or 20
You'd
cents,
have to
whatever
go
it was on your plan.
beg your mum to buy you some more credit.
Some more credit,
I got $30 credit a month. And then after 9 o'clock, it was free to call people or free to text. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that 3210 was so indestructible. And my parents were like, it's not broken yet. We're not getting you a new one. And I was like, I'm going to try and break this.
Challenge accepted.
So I went and put it behind the wheel of my dad's car. Oh, whoops, it fell out.
Oh, no.
He rolls over it and obviously feels something. And he's like, what was that? Gets out of the car, picks it up. It was fine. And he's like, nice try.
That is the meme. That is the meme right there. I only had 2 occasions where I had that FOMO thing of, I need a new phone. The first was when polyphonic ringtones came
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So I had the phone that was just like dee 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 dee. It had that that, and then suddenly there were phones that could play multiple notes at once, and you were like, whoa.
Yes. And you
Sounded
remember you used to have to
amazing.
type the numbers in to get the ringtone to play?
Well, I loved the touch
are
buttons.
ancient.
Yeah, I know. I loved the touch buttons though because I could text without looking because I knew where all
Yeah,
the
tactile.
tap 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 tap.
Yeah.
But the other time I had absolute like, I've been left behind. I need a new phone. Was when I was in the Army Reserve. We were on an exercise. It was not a tactical exercise. We didn't have to be quiet or whatever. And during the night, or once darkness fell, there were people using their phone screens as a torch. And of course, you go back to those early Nokias, and they needed sunlight going into them for you to see which was blacked out and which was not. There were these monochrome screens. They didn't emit any light. And I'm watching these people with the new phones walking around. You're just using it the way that we use it. All use our torches now, and that is the strongest I have ever felt the need to upgrade anything technology related. I was like, I need a new phone right now. All right, whoa! You mean to tell me you've watched all the way to this point, an entire segment of the Oddcast, and you're still not subscribed? Seriously, what is wrong with you? Just subscribe, like, share. Tell everybody. You had fun, right? Tell everybody else. Let them have some fun too. And listen, buy me some coffee, please. I'm desperate. I'm starting to get the shakes. Like, just there's a coffee. That one. Scan that coffee, please, now. Thanks.